This woman simply grabbed a cup of coffee and was immediately surrounded by hostile stares from every man in the office. The next day, a new water pot appeared by the coffee machine with a sign reading, "Colored only." For Catherine, even using the restroom was an ordeal. Every bathroom in the entire building was whites only, so she had to leave the building, go downstairs, and run 800 meters to the other side of the campus just to find a colored restroom. Then, without time to rest, she'd have to sprint back to her desk. No matter how fast she ran, each bathroom trip wasted 40 minutes, forcing her to work several extra hours each day just to complete her assignments. When she finally finished her calculations and presented the data to her boss, he threw it straight into the trash. Aerospace data changes so rapidly that any delay renders the information useless. The next day, a colleague gave Catherine another pile of data, but he had deliberately blacked out the crucial information, claiming it was for security purposes. But Catherine knew this security measure only applied to Black employees. She studied the data from every angle until she finally managed to see the covered information by holding it up to the light. She rushed to the large blackboard and began calculating. Halfway through, she desperately needed to use the restroom again and had to repeat her familiar 800-meter sprint. What she didn't realize was that her calculations had solved a problem that had stumped her colleagues for days and caught her boss's attention. When her boss called her into his office, she expected praise but instead faced suspicion about how she'd managed to solve it with the key data blacked out. Catherine explained her method. The boss held the papers up to the light and could clearly see the data underneath. Realizing she'd been wronged, he ordered that Catherine's data should never be redacted again. With her boss's recognition, Catherine worked even harder. One day, desperately needing the restroom, she ran through the rain clutching her files and arrived completely soaked. The colored restroom didn't even have paper towels to dry off, but she had no choice but to grab her materials and sprint back. When she returned to the office, she was too late. Her boss was furious at not being able to find her. When she explained she'd gone to the restroom, he exploded. "We study rocket launch times precise to the second, and you waste 40 minutes on something as trivial as using the bathroom?" Faced with this misunderstanding, Catherine finally reached her breaking point. She loudly voiced all the injustices she'd endured, and not a single white male colleague dared to speak. After her outburst, she couldn't bear to see their hypocritical faces any longer. She packed her things and walked out. The next day, her boss arrived with a crowbar and smashed down the colored restroom sign, declaring that at NASA, everyone's urine is the same color. Due to copyright restrictions, we can only show you this much of the film, titled Hidden Figures.